Well, hello, everyone. It's wonderful to see you all. Thank you for joining us for our first in our series of Healthy Habits, Healthy Families series. Today, we have two guest speakers, one from the Dairy Council and Health Education Council that are going to share with us. My name is Lisa Vorse, and I'm the dietitian with Nutrition Services. So I work with food services to provide the meals. And today we especially want to remind you that we have a curbside meal program going on, and we are hoping that you take advantage of it to provide meals, the school meals for your families. So we'll get a little bit about that in a few minutes and share our website with you. But first, let me introduce our two speakers. We have Sonia Fernandez Arana. She is from Dairy Council of California, and we also have Joanna Ramirez from Health Education Council. Both of these two ladies are good friends to myself and to our district. They're really active in helping nutrition services promote nutrition and nutrition education. They've worked alongside us to provide many of the nutrition education opportunities that our classrooms have, such as Harvest of the Month, and we have team nutrition that they also help with, as well as some of the fun other nutrition activities that we have. They've come and helped us at farmers markets, at the school sites, and also help provide many of the different activities that we provide on this during the school day, and also integral to helping us set up these online nutrition education for the classroom as well. So we really thank you both for being here today, and we're excited to hear what you have to share with us.
Thank you, Lisa, for introducing us, and Joanna and myself are excited to introduce holiday nutrition tips. So something to really support families. Keep in mind, good nutrition during, the upcoming holidays that we will be kind of honoring and celebrating. And to kick us off, we would like to know, where, who our audience is, what schools are being represented on this call. So in the chat box, if you wouldn't mind, maybe just writing down which school or schools your child attends. And thank you, Lisa, for moderating the chat box for us. We just want to be able to capture that.
Well, we have families representing FC Joyce and Ridgepoint.
Fantastic. We can give it maybe a few more seconds, and that's okay. Families are more than welcome to, at any time, chat that in. Okay, and to kick us off, the first holiday nutrition tip we want to share with families is maintain mealtime routines. Structure is really created through consistent routines, and those routines teach children, what to expect throughout the day. And that structure not only helps parents, but also kids themselves. Kids feel safe, they feel secured because they know what to expect. And as a parent, you feel confident because you know how to, really respond. And that routine and that rules, they really create that structured home environment and make that home life very much so predictable. So we want to learn from you guys, what is just an example of a routine that maybe, you're following, you're doing at home with your child. You're welcome to put that in the chat box, or you're welcome to come on and share that out loud with the group. We would love to learn what you're doing at home.
I know I like to I just put in the chat box, I like to take a walk around my block every day just to get some fresh air, especially after we're done with the Zoom, with working about, 2:30. and the sun's still out. So I enjoy that.
Perfect. So that's a great example of something that you have established as your, part of your afternoon routine, something that you like to do, allows you to kind of, clear your head, gets that physical movement. And we know those routines are going to vary depending on the age of the child. So what we want to do is really focus on those really important activities throughout the day, like mealtime, bedtime, getting ready for school, their homework, etc. And children really develop those eating routines at a very young age. We know when kids come to school, they're having breakfast at school, lunch, potentially supper and snack if they're enrolled in the after school program. Those are very structured, specific times of the day. So that becomes, their schedule. They know what to expect. So we really want to encourage caregivers, families to maintain that consistency of that mealtime when kids are not in session, such as the holiday break that's coming up, as well as the weekends. And what are the benefits? You're probably wondering, why should I do this? It supports, the child's really those nutritional needs. We know that kids are getting those, those key essential nutrients that they need to support the growth and development. But it also allows them to regulate those hunger cues. They start to really understand in the morning, I wake up, I really am hungry, but maybe I'm not quite hungry at 10 o'clock because I already had a hearty breakfast. And come around lunchtime, that's, when their tummies start to rumble, or, whenever they typically have their lunch, and then the same thing for their snack and potentially that dinner time. So we want to make sure that stays consistent during the time that they're not structured and in school. We know this year is very unique because of COVID-19, but something to certainly keep in mind these next few weeks while they're out on holiday break. And the last thing, it really supports that academic success. Kids that have that consistent and that routine, the more likely ability to their focus and their attention is really centered around their learning versus their focus of hunger, and whether it's the mental effects or those physical effects of being hungry. So that's, another key benefit to kind of maintaining that mealtime routine with children. The other things that we want to, share with families, we want to encourage families to take the time to check out the school website. And I'm going to quickly transition my screen to access that. I'm hoping I can find the website. Oh gosh, Lisa. Let's see, what did I do with that? Let me quickly transition and share. Thank you, Lisa. So Lisa, would you like to maybe just do a very brief announcement and let families know we have this holiday meal service schedule up for them, and this is kind of what to expect?
Absolutely. So I don't know if all of you have had the opportunity to take advantage of our school meals, but we have a curbside meal program that is available Monday through Friday during the school week, where we are serving a breakfast, lunch, and supper in a meal kit that you come and pick up for each child in your family. And that includes any children that aren't enrolled in our schools as well. If you have children that are a baby up to the age of 5 before they come into kindergarten, they will also be able to get a meal. And on Fridays, we give out a 3-day meal kit for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So you're getting an advantage there as well. And this holiday, knowing that there's going to be a 2-week break when school comes in, we are going to have 2 special meal distributions on Monday, December 21st. You can come in and get a 3-day kit, and then on the 28th as well. And the holiday meal service locations are listed here. You can find all of this information on our nutrition services website, which is real easy to find if you go to our district website and go into the quick links, and then you can navigate down to nutrition and click on that. Another nice thing about our website too is that you can see our Facebook, and you can get your links to Facebook, and you can go ahead and plug in and save that on your Facebook, or you can search for us at Twin Rivers Nutrition Services. And then check out our Facebook as well, so that you can find out the latest information on meals and meal times as well. We try to keep that pretty well updated. So, and if there's ever any questions, feel free to reach out by email to find us they're just contacting nutrition services is the best way. But I encourage everybody to take advantage of the holiday meals and all meals every day that we're offering. It isn't like uh, it's the school meals are there for the children. They're convenient for you. And it really does help nutrition services as well because we get reimbursed for the meals that we serve. So we really want everybody in our district to take advantage. So we hope to see you there December 21st and December 28th.
Thank you, Lisa. And is there maybe a phone number that you can put in the chat box, as well as maybe an email if parents have any questions that they can contact nutrition services either through phone or email? Oh, thank you.
We'll do that. Yes. Sounds good.
Let me transition back. I apologize for the back and forth. I'm hoping I'm back in the same slide. Please let me know if you're not seeing the correct PowerPoint. But the other resource that we really want to kind of encourage families to access if they need is the Sacramento Food Bank and the River City Food Bank. They provide various food assistance programs, such as enrolling in CalFresh or other food resources through their distribution at various locations across Sacramento. And the links are listed here for you as well. And if you have any questions, you're welcome to reach out to myself, Lisa Vors, or Heriberto, and we can get that information out to you. The second tip is use My Plate to plan and prep meals and snacks. We know My Plate, it's this fantastic tool, right? Not just for planning, prepping, but also that consumption of food. And it really is that guide to help families reinforce the balance of food choices and really good nutrition. And everything you eat, and drink matters. So what we want families to do is really focus on variety and portions. And as you can see, the My Plate icon, that plate there, that's a perfect example of how to, really proportion out your plate and be able to select all those various different food groups, because each food group provides those really key essential nutrients. And naturally through following kind of that section of the plate helps to support that portion management component. And the balance of, balance those food choices, as we said, promotes good nutrition. But a good rule of thumb is to include 3 of the 5 food groups when you're really focusing on those core meals, such as breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Snacks aim for at least 2 of the 5 food groups. Snacks do account for about 25% of a child's daily calories consumed. And that's really a great time to offer food groups that maybe your child has not eaten earlier in the day. And when planning and shopping meals, or for meals, remember that canned and frozen foods are just great budget friendly, and they're shelf stable, and they're fantastic options to provide those really essential nutrients. And what is a healthy snack? As we said, right, those calories, 25%, that's quite a bit. And smart snacking, it's about thinking those core kind of food group foods. And a way to incorporate more balanced snacks is really aiming, starting slow, swapping out snacks that are a little bit less nutritious. If it's typically a bag of chips that your child likes to go towards, or a candy bar, you can replace that with something more nutritious and wholesome from one of the food groups. And snacks don't have to be complicated. You don't need a recipe. They could be very, very simple, such as granola and veggies, cheese and crackers, apples and peanut butter. They could be very basic foods, but at the end of the day, provide those essential nutrients that otherwise children would not be getting if they were eating something that was less nutritious and balanced, like a bag of chips or a candy bar. The third tip, I believe Joanna will be kind of taking over from here.
Hello, everyone. So for this one, for number 3, we want to remember to think about colors. So remember to eat the rainbow. And you want to remember to incorporate different fruits and vegetables of a variety of colors. And for one example, for the green foods, you could try any of these like broccoli, or kale or celery. And the green foods, they support your eye health and they help your wounds and your gum health as well. And then the next color would be your blue and purple foods. So those would be like, a lot of them would probably be fruits, but you could also try eggplant and purple cabbage, and those are good for your heart, your brain, and they also support your cognitive health. The next one, the other color would be white. For that one, it would also probably be a lot more vegetables like onions and cauliflowers. And for that color, it supports your circulatory system and healthy bones and your arterial functions. The next color would be red, and that one would be your fruits and vegetables. You could do tomatoes, your watermelon, your apples, and those that color helps protect against cancer and supports health and lung health, your heart and lung health. And then the last one would be your yellow and orange foods, and those would be like your carrots, your oranges, your mangoes, and that one is good for your eye health and it supports your healthy immune functions. So we wanted to ask you guys if you could write in the chat box which color do you eat the most, and which color do you want to try and eat more. So think of which color you guys incorporate more into your meals, and which ones you would want to try and incorporate more for your family. And then Lisa said broccoli salad. Yeah, I love broccoli. I guess that's my favorite one. Growing up, I did not like it, but now I love it. And there's so many different ways to eat it. So there's a lot of different ways to incorporate your vegetables and your fruits. So remember to think, to try and incorporate all the different colors into your meals. Okay, and then our next one, we were going to share a demo, a recipe. And for this one, the recipe is a chile cilantro soup.
You transition my screen. I'm sorry, yes. I know it's transitioning back and forth. So let me share this. And Joanna, is there at a certain point where you would like me to, I guess, start the video? How would you like to?
I think at 4:04 is when she starts cooking, so we could go there.
Okay, 4:04. I'm going to stop. Let's see. We'll just do that. And I think the subtitles, I want to put that in Spanish. Where are my options here? Closed captioning options.
I think you go to the settings one.
Oh, thank you. Subtitles in. Do we have other options?
You go back to where it says auto translate.
Oh, let me go back. Auto translate. Okay, and we're selecting. Can I? Oh, no, maybe not. You have to scroll down. Yeah. I apologize for those that are on following along. I apologize if we are dizzying everyone. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and expand and play this.
Joanna, can you just give a little detail about what the video is going over? In this case, we don't hear the audio, so just give a brief description of what she's talking about would probably be helpful.
Yeah, so for this one, it's a chile cilantro soup, and this one, it's kind of like a stock. So it could be a really good base to, and it just has a bunch of different vegetables in it. It has onions, bell peppers, cilantro, chile serranos, tomatoes, limes, corn, and then also has avocado. Um, and for this one, like I mentioned, it's like a good stock, and it's a good base, and you can add any different kind of proteins. She's adding chicken, but you could also add, like pork, beef. You could add fish, and if you're vegetarian, you can add like tofu. Um, and then for this one, she's just using a lot of different like scraps that she has, or like extra vegetables that she has in her refrigerator. So it's a good way to use up any leftover vegetables that you have in your fridge instead of just throwing them out. Um, so yeah, and then right here she's she previously made like a chicken broth, and that's what she's using as her base. And then she's adding the cilantro, and then at the end, she's just going to add some more cilantro and then some avocado as a Yeah, so then this one is it's a really good like a healthy holiday dish option that you could use in your for your holidays. And it's like it could be a side dish as well, and it's a good way to incorporate different wholesome foods. And you can pair it on the side with a salad, with roasted vegetables, or just as by itself as a soup. And I think we will be sharing the link to the video as well, so you guys can watch it at home.
Yes. Joanna, would you mind maybe adding that to the chat box? Before we get a minute, let me transition back. I apologize. There's a lot of transitioning back and forth here. So thank you everyone for bearing with us while we transition. And I hope, let's see. I think we got paused here. I think that's it. Correct, Joanna? Is there anything else, Joanna, that you would like to share with everyone regarding that? Okay. Thank you. Yes, she'll be providing the link there. I apologize for the technical difficulties, but as she said, it's a wonderful, hearty dish that could be incorporated as part of kind of just the holiday offerings, those food offerings, with whatever just cultural foods or vegetables that are that you have accessible to. Tip number 5 is offer fruit with dessert. We know that fresh fruit really, helps to sort of offset those, those calories and that extra sugar, and really helps to provide something a little bit more nutritious to really balance out those sweet treats that are being served. So, with dessert, we want to practice that mindfulness, and this is really where this particular food group can come into play. Fruit is really perfect because it allows you to have that, that little something that's sweet, especially if it's in season, if you're providing that fresh. Canned and frozen fruits are harvested at their peak, and they're really excellent choices if fresh fruits are not able to be served with those dessert treats. But some of the other things that, you can really benefit from is not just, kind of keeping mindful of that added sugar, but also controlling the portions of those really sweet treats that you consume, because we hope that this is where that fruit will kind of come into play and really help to provide that fullness and that support that kind of interest for something sweet. Next, we do want to show some kind of just traditional maybe desserts that have been sort of, modified and altered a bit to include a little bit of, fresh fruits. Many, desserts are typically kind of just the chocolates for some families, and a simple way to kind of balance that out is maybe just top it off with a little cherry. We know cheesecakes can definitely be found available with fruit, but sometimes it's a really thick, heavy glaze of kind of like a fruit syrup, but be able to top that out with fresh fruit is a fantastic idea. And if fresh fruit isn't something that is, feasible, or, maybe just the berries are not quite in that season, be able to have the option of maybe making a cheesecake with the canned fruit is a fantastic option. I actually never thought about putting fruit on top of flan, but I know some families that do. And again, it's just kind of balancing that sweetness and offsetting that a little bit. But there are certainly other things that you can do. And we hope that you guys will feel inspired through these simple kind of fruit pairing ideas. Holiday tip number 6 is beverage choices matter. And Americans spend about $1 trillion on beverages each year, right? Collectively, not just, any one person, but many of those beverages, as we know, are really high in added sugars as well as calories. And they really displace those essential nutrients that are really needed to support a child's growth and development, but also one's personal long-term health. And in fact, with younger children between the ages of 2 and 5, many of them do consume those beverages with added sugar. And they account for about 32% of really the sugar in a child's diet. So it's just putting them at greater risk for cavities, weight gain, and we know that potentially can lead to that obesity as well. And what we want to do is help to reduce that consumption. It's being, aware and being mindful of how those beverages impact health. And to, really increase that awareness, it's about checking the nutrition facts label. And presented here in this graphic is just an example of, what the most, I guess, say the latest nutrition facts label with a few changes that were incorporated, which has been a section that includes added sugar. So this is really where we want families to really focus and review what are those grams of added sugar. For children, it should be no more than 6 teaspoons a day, and for adults, for 12. But you also definitely have to keep in mind, the serving sizes as well. I'm sure we can do a whole parent class on a nutrition facts label. But other things to really consider is that there's been great efforts made across California through the Rethink Your Drink campaign, and many medical and health professionals have been encouraging families to do this, right? To look at the nutrition facts label, have a better understanding of how to read that and be able to make those determinations and provide those healthy beverages for their families. But health professionals are recommending water and milk as the primary beverage choice, and to make those readily available for children. And we know water is completely essential for that hydration, but milk really helps to support that development of the bones and teeth, repair that muscle. And if let's say juices were to be served, it's critical to focus on 100% fruit juice, whether it's fruit or vegetable that are being offered. And typically, if you look at the back of a label, it would be anywhere near the nutrition facts label that would, you'd be able to read the percentage of fruit juice that's in that drink. And they do recommend half a cup for children and 1 cup for adults. And you're probably wondering why. It's because juices aren't really an excellent source of fiber. You typically would get that from your natural whole fruit or your vegetables, because that fiber does get lost in the processing and the pressing of juices, which is why we're recommending that as the holiday tip, just to kind of be mindful of that. Holiday tip number 7, enjoy holiday foods mindfully. And that's really, just, it's okay to splurge on holiday favorite dishes. Every holiday feast comes potentially with some very unique cultural foods that are served. And it could be challenging. How do I maintain good nutrition during the holidays? And what I recommend is really just kind of scanning dinner table, seeing what's being offered. Is there something that's really special and very unique to that celebration of that holiday? And for myself, during Christmas time, my family, we prepare tamales, and I typically don't prepare that for all the other sort of, holidays that we honor and celebrate. So that would be a dish that I would splurge on, would be tamales. In addition to that, I do serve, rice and beans. And again, that's just something that's part of my family kind of just staple. So that wouldn't be anything that I would splurge on. So that's just kind of one example. And we would love to learn, what is it that you prepare during the holidays, or what will you prepare for the holidays, and what will you splurge on? Feel free to chat that in, or you're welcome to come on the line and share a little bit about that.
Sonia, there is a question as far as when it comes to the for fat and sodium, as far as what is appropriate, as far as serving sizes. What would you recommend in those cases?
The serving sizes for the fat and sodium, there are certain percentages. The dietary guidelines for Americans does not advise really anything more than 23 or 2200 milligrams of sodium. For children, it's significantly less. Lisa, please feel free to chime in as the dietitian for the district. I know they're really aiming low for the 1200, 1500 is what the goal is. In terms of looking at the label, I would say anything that's lower than 15% of the daily value is okay to consume. Again, looking at the serving sizes, but everything really has some form of sodium, unless it's wholesome and uncooked. Fruits and vegetables do not have that sodium or that fat. Rice would not have that. It's anything that's really packaged and will have some form of sodium, like tortillas and bread, ketchup, things of that nature. Some are really more higher and lower. It sounds like this topic might be a good topic to present in our workshop series, and we can definitely delve into that a little bit more. For fats, I would say the same thing. Try to aim for more of lean meats and prepare more wholesome foods. So cooking with olive oil, even vegetable oil, coconut oil, sort of staying away from those lards. And tamales do have, they are traditionally prepared with lard. So again, that's something to be mindful. I am going to sort of just practice preparing the tamales that I make this year with olive oil to see how that works well, keeping in mind just those recommendations of limiting saturated fat and trans fat as well. But again, that could be a whole nother another class, and I can certainly dive into that response a little bit more, and we can provide that individual a little bit more information. But thank you. That's a really great question. Lisa, if you'd like to add anything else to that, please feel free to do so. Okay, she said okay. But yes, is there someone on the line that would like to talk about, what they are going to serve and maybe what they'll splurge on? Joanna, is there something that you will splurge on this holiday season?
Yeah, I'd probably do tamales as well.
Okay.
Yeah, I love those for the holidays.
Fantastic. Lisa, is there anything that you will splurge on, or?
Well, and just talking about the fat too, another one is making sure that your milk is non-fat or 1%. So I know every once in a while you still, we're still serving our children the whole milk, because they had whole milk when they were 1, and then they turned to, and it just kind of, they like that higher fat milk. So they're doing little things like that can also decrease your fat. And I like what Sonia said too about choosing more leaner meats. And then oftentimes now we're really even encouraging maybe one day a week having meatless Monday or something like that, that can really decrease your fat as well. So just those little tips. And maybe Sonia's right, and we should have some kind of a cut the fat type class in the future.
Mm-hmm.
I like that.
Yeah.
As far as splurging, another thing that we always like is you have get-togethers, and you have, even though we won't be doing too much of that, but always the appetizers, the dips and different things, which can also be high in fat too. So just being mindful of maybe choosing using salsa instead of the sour cream based dips, I think is a good thing. Or sometimes we've even switched out using non-fat plain yogurt in
Mhm.
sour cream, and that's a really nice way to cut fat as well. So
Exactly. Now, those are great tips. Thank you, Lisa. Yes, feel free to, if you have a question, feel free to chat that in. Thank you, Heriberto, for stopping us along the way. This is exactly what we want. We want this to be just a natural dialogue. So if people have questions along the way, they're welcome to stop us, or even jump in on the line and ask us. It's okay. The eighth tip is eat until you're satisfied, not stuffed. So kind of just thinking back, I think we've all experienced this. We overeat, we feel uncomfortable. We just maybe get really excited. There's something there that we maybe don't always typically indulge on. So we overeat. So what is, mindful eating? And I think this is a really great graphic to really help us kind of understand what are those kind of practices and principles. And why even care about mindful eating? Well, it helps us kind of just understand that balance of those choices and that acceptance of ourselves and how we feel when we do eat foods, whether it's a food that's healthy or not so healthy. It's just understanding, just how our connection to that food. And so some of the things that you can do is really eat slowly, right? Check your fullness level, have a better understanding of what those cues are, true cues of hunger versus non-hunger triggers that may spark eating, such as distractions. Sometimes when we're either on our phone or watching TV, we could be mindlessly eating. I know I have done that, where I'm watching a good show and I'm just eating, let's say, chips or popcorn out of a bag. And before I know it, I ate more than what I would like to have eaten. So that's just kind of an example of kind of those sort of non-hunger triggers, is just watching TV and not really paying close attention. The other thing is engaging in your senses. So just, stop to kind of think about, how you feel when you're eating a certain food. Engage your senses. So not just, kind of what you're seeing, but interact maybe, what is that sound or the textures or the flavors of foods as they're combining in your mouth. That's just another practice of mindful eating. And another tip could be putting your utensil down between bites, because that will really help you slow down versus really kind of feeling rushed and kind of eating your food really fast. So that will also help you to kind of have a better understanding. Am I really full? Or is this a good kind of time to continue eating? So it's a way for you to kind of check in with your body. The other thing, as we kind of shared, My Plate really allows us naturally to kind of think about those kind of portion sizes and the control of food. So continuing to use My Plate as a guide to kind of portion out our foods and serve those foods that we enjoy eating. And I believe, I'm trying to think. Yes, they do recommend relatively about 20 minutes for your meal time, and be able to put your fork down, not watching TV, engage in conversation with those that you're enjoying the meal with. Encouraging the family eating will really help to ensure that you kind of hit that 20-minute mark. So these are all just wonderful tips and tricks to really practice that mindful eating. So something to kind of keep in mind, not just during the holidays, but something that we should really want to aim for every time we do eat. Holiday tip number 9. So we want to plan for a family wellness activity. We want to kind of really just incorporate this as an opportunity for families to just continue to build those positive relationships with their members, allow for that bonding time. Family wellness not only supports the mental, but the physical and the emotional health and well-being of everyone, of all individuals. So some ideas that we would like to present is, have an opportunity to, invite families to cook with you. especially if you're, the kind of head chef of your household. It's nice to be able to share those experiences with your family members as you're preparing those dishes for them, especially your children as well. It's, cooking is a life skill, and we want children to feel confident in the kitchen and be able to nourish themselves successfully to support their lifelong health. We want to invite family members to go on a walk. Lisa had shared earlier, it's just, walking is part of her afternoon routine. So that could be something that you can easily sort of incorporate and invite all the family members that are, interested and capable of to do that. And, access your recreational parks, do maybe a fun family sports game, or if you have a kite or just anything of that nature, any opportunity to come together and do something fun. It could be something silly as a coloring contest that you can do at home. You name it. There's lots of ideas and approaches to take family, when you're talking about family wellness. This is a great infographic to really help families get a better sense of at what age can I start to invite my child into the kitchen. And a way to really raise healthier eaters is to create those opportunities for them to do that meal preparation with you. And kids are naturally curious. They're going to want to really mimic and be a part and involved in some of the activities that you do. And as parents, you probably have already witnessed that and experienced that. And this chart here, for example, meal preparation, children of all ages can really do this. So at the very, I should say maybe at the very top, there is a nice little indicator that tells us, toddler age, middle school, elementary, 12 and up. So based on kind of what that age is, like if it's pressing the blender button, a toddler can do that. So if you're not sure, tearing off leaves, like lettuce leaf, a small child can do that, as well as a child certainly in elementary, middle, and high school. So this is just a great infographic to really help to support what are some of those activities in the kitchen that they can do. And the other thing that we want to draw your attention to is tomorrow, December 16th. This is just a fun activity sheet that helps children learn about balancing their breakfast choices. This activity sheet will be distributed tomorrow at your elementary school sites. It's in partnership with Nutrition Services, and they'll be providing this along with the meal that's served tomorrow. If there's anything else, Lisa, that I forgot to say regarding this, please let me know, but I think we're good. So we encourage you to go out tomorrow and pick up a nutritious meal and this worksheet, and it's available in English and in Spanish. So feel free to just let the site leads know if you're interested in Spanish or in English, and they can get that activity sheet out to your children. So you can learn about nutrition and talk about balancing breakfast choices. The last holiday tip is celebrating the holidays just during COVID-19. We know for many families and many individuals, celebrating the holidays is going to be very, very different, very unique. And I think it's what's at the center and the core of celebrating the holidays is really family, and be able to spend the time with those that you love and you care for. And it's also an opportunity to practice, gratitude and that reflection. And we encourage families to reflect on the past, the present, and the future, and recognize those sources of goodness that are really in your life. And Nutrition Services is definitely one thing that I'm extremely grateful that Twin Rivers has really been able to provide that service and that support for families. A lot of families could not have, gone day to day without that support and that service. So thank you, Lisa, for the work that you and your team do. So that's, just something that we want to encourage. And it's okay if those traditions are unable to be met. You can create new traditions. And that's what we hope that we were able to inspire you today, even if it's incorporating a new family wellness activity, or maybe it's doing a new recipe, offering a new dish, that the link that Joanna shared out of in that video, that recipe, that could be just something new that you offer, it's absolutely okay to break that tradition. It's about creating new traditions and new memories with your family. And that's what we really are aiming for. And we hope everyone is able to do that. So we want to, thank everyone for being on the call. But we also want to hear from you guys. We would like to know, what topics are of interest to you. What would you like us to cover in this series of workshops? And please, we encourage you to put that in the chat box. And if you have any questions, or maybe you think of something else, you can contact Nutrition Services. Would that be okay, Lisa, if they contact you with ideas? Okay. Fantastic. Joanna, is there anything else that you would like to add to this, and maybe about a survey?
Yes. So we did create a survey link that we will be sharing with you guys. So it will be covering this, so you guys can share with us any other topics that you guys, and I know some of you had already mentioned some questions like about the serving size and the nutrition facts label. So if you guys want to share that in the survey and participate in it, so we can get some more information on what you guys would want us to cover for the future.
Thank you. Perfect. Wonderful. Any questions? I know there was a question that was posed along the way. So thank you to that parent that asked that question. I want to open up the chat line here. And if questions do come up, we can certainly answer them outside of this workshop. It's okay. Lisa, if you're okay, comfortable getting those questions funneled down to you, and you can either respond to them, or you can funnel them to Joanna and myself, and we can reply respectfully.
There's a question that I would like to ask, as far as for those families that have children that eat fast, that are fast eaters, how would you go about in speaking to your children or your child as far as eating slowly, or how would you go about it, I guess, in some ways communicating with your children so they could, just be mindful of what they're eating and just take a pause and chew slowly?
I know some children are fast eaters. I have one of my daughters is super fast. She's just one of those, she's fast and busy, and she's on to the next thing, and she can finish a meal before I've even, I'm a slow eater. And so there again, I think just like pointing it out that, because one of the problems is she eats so fast that then she is watching us eat, and then she starts picking more. Whereas if she would take her time and maybe slow down a little bit, she would notice that her stomach was feeling full. So I think just, talking about, simple conversations, doesn't have to be accusing or like even like making her feel bad, like you're a fast eater, slow down, but maybe more like just pointing things out. I eat slow, you eat fast, just kind of making it a part of the conversation in a positive way. Or, how does your tummy feel? And, what if you chew your food? I think it's just being positive about it, but also aware of it. So
yeah, I agree with Lisa. It's that awareness, having that initial conversation of maybe how fast, that eating might make them feel, but practicing, I think, the utensils, take a bite, chew, and maybe if you notice that maybe the child isn't chewing more than 1 or 2 times, maybe ask them to chew, 5 times, chew their food 5 times, swallow, and then pick up their utensil and go for another serving. And I think that, practicing some of those tips that we shared could help them sort of start to kind of regulate how fast they're eating, and be able to engage in their senses, right? We don't just eat with our eyes and our mouth, but our nose, right? We use all of our senses when we eat, but it's, what does that food smell like? What does it taste like really when you start to combine different foods, and maybe the noises, even if it's having those conversations and asking your child those questions, might be able to kind of allow them to really stop and think, what is that connection that I have with the food that I'm eating? So I'm hoping through those various little techniques will help them sort of slow down. We know it's very challenging when they are in school because there's not a lot of time to eat, and kids naturally get distracted. So I would say the techniques that you do with your child, I think, will depend on the age. But it's not too early to start to practice that mindful eating. And I think right now, with everyone being at home and distance learning, I think it's a great opportunity to start that practice, because you have that opportunity to come home with the meals from nutrition services and just practice that. Try to make that lunch last 20 minutes. Even if lunch lasts, let's say 5 minutes, try to aim for 1 or 2 minutes extra each day for each meal. So that could be another technique to sort of start slowly. I'm hoping that answered that parent's question, or your question, Heriberto.
And then another question of what would you recommend for those who have dietary preferences, like being lactose or gluten-free?
With lactose, I guess it depends. There is lactose-free milk, hard cheeses. Some people are able to digest that, but it's just there's other great options if that's not possible. There's other type of there's plant-based milks. If fluid, that liquid dairy is kind of troubling someone with their digestion. I'm sorry, the other question, Lisa, I can't quite.
I think it was, or if they were gluten.
They're gluten-free, yeah. Rice, corn. I'm trying to think what other.
Well, there's a lot of.
There's quite a, yeah.
There's switching over, like instead of doing burritos with the flour tortillas, we just switched to corn tortillas, and those are gluten-free. You can do some of the rice pastas that they have out, or corn pastas, if you're really stuck on having pasta type dishes. But a lot of times you can switch that over to something over rice. So like beef stroganoff can still be over rice. It doesn't have to be noodles. And, just trying to be as natural as possible. Label reading. You don't want to have anything with the word wheat in the ingredients label. So some simple switches that Sonia was talking about to make things healthier can also be for gluten-free. And I'm always happy to talk more with any parent about that. And I did leave my email in the chat, so feel free to contact me anytime.
Perfect. Thank you, Lisa, for answering that and kind of sharing some examples of what the district is doing and can do for their child if they do have that sensitivity or that allergy.
Okay. Good. Well, it was wonderful getting to meet and know everyone. And I look forward to having more of these little sessions in the future. And I'm hoping that you'll be able to join us again. And feel free to reach out to us.
Yes, thank you, Lisa. Thank you for inviting us to be part of this just opportunity to just educate parents and caregivers and be able to continue this series moving forward. So thank you.